to another great episode of the Vision Lab podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Cuffey, alongside my co-host, Mr. Ryan Mosley. Yo, the Vision Lab is the official growth mindset podcast for all visionaries worldwide, showing mad love to the cigar community. Special shout out to Nexum Creative. Man, listen, we are in the lab and I am super excited today. Hey, yo, Mo, what do we have in the lab?
Cuff, today's guest is a native of Dallas, Texas. She is a graduate of Baylor University. She was a cast member on CBS's hit show, Big Brother, season 21. She is a true influencer in the world of Instagram with 250,000 followers.
What?
Please welcome the one and only beautiful Kat Dunn to the Vision Lab podcast.
I didn't tell you anything about me. So
we do our homework.
I know.
Yeah.
So I was so as you were talking, I was like, oh crap, what's he going to say? What's he going to say next?
Well, first of all, thank you for sitting down with us.
Oh my gosh, I was looking forward to it.
And let's say shout out to Jules Creative.
Yes.
For introducing us. Thank you so much, Jules. We appreciate you.
For sure. And we actually had Jules on the show. What season was that? Season
4 or 5.
4 or 5?
She's episode 58, I believe.
Yeah, so amazing talent in the creative space. Absolutely love you, Jules. Thank you again for the introduction. So let's get into it. First of all, you're smoking your first cigar.
Well, no. My first cigar was in college and I was smoking a Black and Mild.
Well,
That doesn't count.
that
That doesn't
doesn't
count.
This is my first real cigar there.
Yes.
So I don't know what I'm doing. But I was excited to smoke with the boys.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
We
So
appreciate it.
yeah.
And we're sipping on a
Cool.
little Class A vodka.
Oh yeah, and the vodka goes down so smoothly.
Absolutely.
Like this isn't usually when I take shots of vodka, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
but this is really smooth. I like it.
Yeah,
Good.
be careful
Good.
though. Be careful.
I
It'll sneak
know
up
that's
on
what
you.
they said.
Don't get us in trouble with, you driving around saying that, hey, we got this from the Vision Lab. Like, we'll keep it 100.
They got me drunk. No.
To you, sir. So, who is Kat Dunn?
Kat Dunn is me.
Okay, and what is that?
Okay, I don't know. I'm so bad at elevator pitches, and I've never been this bad at it before. But whenever, you're on a first date, or say back in the day, your first day of school or something, and people were like, "Okay, tell us about yourself." I don't know. I do know who I am, of course, but man, I really got to work on my elevator pitch.
Okay.
Because I don't know who I am. I know I'm Kat Dunn, born and raised in Dallas, Texas.
Yep, D-Town.
30 years old, graduate from Baylor University, as he said, was on Big Brother. I gotta work on it so I sound cooler.
So let's
But I
go
hear
into
you
Big Brother
go.
then. How did that happen? Obviously, you did a lot of modeling when you were younger. Miss
Miss Plano.
Plano and
Yeah, you've been around for a minute.
I guess I did my first pageant when I was 17. I wanted to be an evening gown designer, and I went to go intern with a designer out in South Carolina who designed dresses for Miss America and Miss USA and Miss Universe and all this stuff. And when I was there, I realized that I fell in love with the world of pageantry and the pageant girls, and I wanted to be exactly like them because they were all so beautiful and poised. So I wouldn't say that I necessarily grew up around, not that I've been around, for years, but I guess now that I'm 30, it has been a while. So I guess pageants kind of got me started in this whole, world of modeling, which eventually led to my career as an influencer. And Big Brother, actually, they recruited me off of Instagram. And I think they found me because I was a model for Monster Energy. And I think they were recruiting a lot of the Monster Energy girls because they wanted some hot girls or something. I don't know. So they found me and they reached out to me via DM on Instagram. And I'm just, at the time I was very I was working a 9-to-5 job, and I was just, when you kind of just get caught up in the same thing every day. And I was just bored and in a rut. So when they reached out to me, I was like, man, this will be so much fun, something new and exciting to kind of shake my life up a little bit. And it did, and it hasn't been the same since.
When that DM came across, right, were you thinking, is this real, or is somebody pranking me, or is this, spam?
Where's Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, because I've actually been reached out to, it's kind of, I guess not, I wouldn't say a normal thing, but I had gotten other DMs before from other casting people, saying a couple weeks before that I'd been reached out to by the casting director of Paradise Hotel, which I was like, okay, I come from a pretty conservative family, so I didn't want to go on a dating show where you stay in the hotel room with some random guy.
Right.
And then also Love Island had reached out to me, before Big Brother, and they never really I never really thought that either one of them. I just didn't really want to go on a dating show. So when Big Brother reached out and it wasn't a dating show and it was, the chance to win $500,000 and it was like a social experiment, I don't know, it sounded like a pretty cool opportunity. And the funny thing is I still have the screenshot of the initial message that I got because the casting director, he sent me the whole like, I'm so-and-so from casting and we're looking for people like you. Like, it was very like official. And my response was, oh, hell yeah, I'm down. And then that was like, and then they told me in my first interview, they're like, that was the thing that like, as soon as we got your response, we knew that you were like someone that we were really interested in, because usually people will message back something either equally as formal or they're asking questions or whatever. But I was like, no, hell yeah, I'm down. And then
we're all skeptics nowadays.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, then the other thing was they also tried to set me up a call like right then and there, but I was really busy that day because I had a full-time job. So they were like, okay, like give us a call right now. We'll talk about it. And I was like, can I call you tomorrow? I'm actually like really busy today. So I don't know. It's just like I guess they liked my whole like laid back attitude. Yeah. But nothing, when that whole thing happened, like nothing ever, I never had a doubt in my mind that it was going to happen for me. So I just kind of like trusted the process and it ended up working out.
Oh, I love that. Trust the process.
Absolutely. And so one of the things I'm curious about with Big Brother, right?
Let me try to take a smoke. Did it go out?
No, you're good. I think you're good. We'll work on it. It's your first time. So on the show, somebody's always working an angle. There's always an alliance here. There's always a backroom partnership here, there. Given the time you spent on the show, what did you learn when it comes to actually working with people? Because now you're used to people. I'm sure you see BS coming a mile away.
Well, okay, the funny thing is I feel like before I went on Big Brother, I was pretty, like, socially savvy. Like, maybe, I don't know, like, I've always been, I guess in Big Brother we call it a social game, but like in the real world, I don't know, I guess I was just like friendly to people, like always like work in the room and whatever. But ever since I got back from Big Brother, my social skills took such a big hit, and I don't know why, and I haven't recovered. I think it's because I was away for 100 days and I didn't have my phone. I only saw the same like 16 people for those 100 days. That I just like I feel like there's a difference between, like, I feel like pre-show I was just a lot more like socially savvy, and now I'm just really socially awkward. So but it's okay, because like I guess like I have no choice but to own it at this point. So I remember like my first couple dates when I got off the show were so awkward, and I was like, I'm sorry, like I just got off a show, like I can't help but act this weird, and I don't know, but something that really prepared me for going on the show, and I probably should read again, and what might help me transition back now that it's like over a year later, was the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Yeah,
yes.
That is such a great book, not only in like the business world and like your just personal life, but I really feel like if anyone wants to go on Big Brother, that is like the textbook of what to read to find out how to, not necessarily how to read people, but also like how to make them do something that you want them to do, because the game of Big Brother is all manipulation. It's all trying to convince people to work for you or to do your job for you, and I don't know, it's actually, I feel like you have to be a sociopath to win, but or I don't know, but I highly recommend reading that book if you haven't already.
So what was that like when you know that, hey, you and I may be friends, but we're not really friends, because at the end of the day, if it boils down to the two of us, you're going to do something to me.
No, you don't. That's the thing, is Big Brother gets you because they don't, like, you don't realize that. Like, my dumbass, it was first weekend, and then me and this guy Jackson, who actually ended up winning the game, we hit it off right away. And in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, he's such a nice guy. He reminds me of all my friends back home. He is so cool. He's my number one in the game. This is first, second weekend, whatever. And I just was he would never do anything to because the other thing about me is whenever I meet a friend, I dive all into them. So whenever when someone's acting like they're, they have my back and they're my best friend, I believe them. And that was a tough lesson to learn, because I learned that in Big Brother, that's because everyone's playing their own game and everyone's trying to win. So everyone's manipulating you, and they want you to think that they're your number one, because they don't want you going after them. So I don't know, it was kind of, it was tough tough but interesting to see how, people are really just manipulative. but yeah, Jackson, he screwed me over in the beginning of the season, and actually a couple things that he did actually led to my demise in the game, just from like, the first week, because I just put all my trust in him, and I thought, like, oh, he would never screw me over. But when there's $500,000 on the line, people will do crazy stuff. What is a palate cuff?
A palate is basically, like your on top of your tongue, like your taste buds.
Oh,
like
okay.
what resonates, what makes sense for you, and how your flavor profiles, right? So, cigar smoking, you can have a wide range of a palate, like I do, right? Other people like, mild cigars that don't have a lot of, vigor to them. Other people like flavored cigars. Other people will care for, like what we would call a full body, right? Which is like, it's going to give it all to you. It's
a full meal.
But
It's
you
a full
said that
meal.
you were starting me off easy on this one.
Yeah, so we got
This
you
is a
on
Fat
the...
Bottom Betty.
There
Yes.
you go,
Yeah.
yeah.
One of our personal
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah,
as
they
well.
call me Fat Bottom Cat, actually.
Do they really?
No, but I
That might
want
be the
them
title of
to.
your episode.
I want them to.
Hey, shout out to Rayford and the crew in Jewish State.
Yeah.
Absolutely great products.
So, you're in Big Brother, and you realize that, hey, this is real deal. This is a game. Talk to me about that actual experience while being in the show. You there for 100 days, right?
Well, kind of. It depends, because I got evicted on day 58. So then, like, the game, I guess, goes on for 100 days, but people get evicted every week. So if you get evicted in the first 5 weeks, then you go home. But if you get evicted in the second half of the game, then you
stay there.
you go to this thing called Jury, which is awesome because it's a mansion. Ours was a mansion in Malibu, and it was like the bougiest thing I'd ever experienced, and I'll never be able to afford it ever again. But so I wasn't there playing the game for 100 days, but I was, playing the game for 58 days, and that was long enough. But
Yeah.
What's it like being isolated from the outside world? There's no phone.
It's like
there's-
2 days.
Yeah, there's no, right? It's like being in camp. No internet. Like, I mean, what's that like when you wake up and it's, 21 days and you haven't talked to anybody except people in this house?
Yeah, well, so the crazy thing is with the phones, and I feel like we might all be the same age. I'm 30, so I wasn't
No, we're a little bit older.
Y'all are older?
I'm
Okay.
slightly older
Oh,
than you.
nice. Okay,
black,
good.
black don't crack.
I know, man. White women age like pumpkins, though, for real. So I'm just trying to stay young, but no. So So what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought.
You're talking about how it's
Being
different,
isolated.
Being isolated.
Oh yeah. You caught. Sorry, I'm like, as soon as you start talking about my age, and I'm like, on a whole other thing. But anyways, no. So being isolated. So I'm 30. So I grew up in this world where I didn't get my first cell phone until I was like 17, 18 maybe.
Okay.
When you get your car, you get your cell phone. This generation now, I'm not sure if they'd ever be able to survive with
yeah.
Big Brother. Because I feel like maybe it was like part of my like deep subconscious that like maybe allowed me to kind of transition this way. But it only took like 3 days of not having my phone, and then it was like my body was kind of like okay with it, which is strange because I'm addicted to my phone. So it's crazy to me that it only took like 3 days, and then all of a sudden felt like I was like, okay, whatever.
What do you mean you're addicted to your phone?
Oh, my screen time is insane. Like it's so I don't even watch TV because I spend so much time on my phone. So I can't afford to have like another hobby that would take away like that kind of time.
Is that because of who you are as a social media influencer?
I think that, they say like do what you love to do and you never work a day in your life.
That's right.
I love social media. I love Instagram. I love scrolling through, looking at people's photos. Like I don't view social media as necessarily like a toxic kind of thing. It's my entertainment. So so I was straight up addicted. But also before I went on the show, I was in that bad habit of, if someone would text me, I'd text them back right away. If someone would call me, I would, answer the phone right away. I'm trying so hard not to get back into that habit now that I've gotten off the show, because I remember when I was in the house, I was like, okay, something that I can absolutely not do when I get back and I get my phone back is I can no longer be at people's beck and call, because it was causing a lot of stress in my life by because people always knew I was on my phone. They always knew that
You're pulled in so many different directions.
yeah, and then so when people know that you're always on your phone, if they text you, they're gonna like keep texting you back until you answer. So now my friends know that if they text you, that does, I'm kind of notoriously bad at texting, which I like because then they know not to expect a text back, which I don't know, I mean maybe that's a bad way to be, but I just was, it's kind of like it traps you to be at people's beck and call like that. So Big Brother did kind of free me from that, but also the thing that was really hard for me was I had never gone longer than a day, I think. I don't even know. Like, I talk to my parents every single day.
Right.
So now, like, not having them to talk to was really, really hard for me, and I struggled a lot in the house about, I was like, oh, I hope I'm making them proud, I hope that they still love me, which sounds really crazy, but just because I was so used to talking to them every single day.
So in what we're talking about with Big Brother, it's a true social experiment, right?
Oh yeah.
What's one of the hardest lessons you learned in the aftermath of experience all of that?
Well, so I'm somebody who I guess there's a lot of people that go on this show, Big Brother, and I don't know if y'all are familiar with how the actual show's run, but so there's the edited show that they air 3 times a week. And then there's also live feeds that are 24/7, and you're always on camera. People can always go on CBS All Access and watch you at all times of the day. They can watch you sleep. They can watch you getting ready to go into the shower. They can, I mean, you don't actually see you in the shower, but they see your head, like, from your neck up. They there's a camera everywhere in the house, even the bathroom, but the bathroom doesn't feed to the live feeds, but that's just for like safety purposes. But it's like you forget that the cameras are there. So I think so there's a lot of people that go on the show, and then whenever they come back and they realize that there's a lot of backlash over things that they said or things that they did on the show, they immediately blame the edit. They're like, oh, that wasn't me, like, it was the edit, it was, it's like, there's live feeds, like,
there's no accountability.
Yeah, it's like, it's not necessarily like, sometimes like I get on the live show, they can, on the edited show, they can kind of like, skew your character a little bit, but, with the 24-hour live feeds, you're giving them the stuff, the footage to use. So something that I've done as a Big Brother alumni, which I don't think a lot of people do, and they should, because I think it's a really great learning lesson, is I went home and I looked at all of the things that people said that were bad about me, which is, of course, very humbling, because you only want to see the good things, and there were a lot of good. I would feel like I was pretty well received, and I'm really grateful for my fan base, but there's a couple people that were like, hey, like, I saw that you said this, or you treated this person like this, and like, it would be like a lot of people like to cower and say like, oh, that wasn't me, that was the edit, and then they just kind of look like a fool. But instead, I took the time to
own it.
Well, not only to own it, but to like look, to like kind of reflect and be like, wait, why did I say that? Like, why did I, like, there was this girl that, and she still won't talk to me today, which I don't blame her, because I talked such bad shit about her, like, and I don't even know why. Like, I just, like, I guess it's because like other people didn't like her, so I found myself like using like conversations about her to like it
built your case to go ahead and go down that path.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like, of course I was getting egged on by other people because they didn't like her, but like I literally had no reason to talk bad about her, because it was actually very embarrassing when I got back and I realized that it was so one-sided. And then there's like clips of her being like, I love Kat, like I can't wait to be friends with her after this. And yeah, man. I know, I looked like such a bitch. And I was like, and it was, and I mean, there's just no way that you could cut it. It's just like that was a very humbling experience for me, and a very valuable learning moment, is like, I girls are very gossipy. I'm very gossipy, but you can gossip and be, chatty without talking bad about someone, because it didn't make me look good at all. It it made me look horrible, and I realized that it was a really bad trait of mine. So I tried to work on it.
Do you think that was a reflection of your inner character?
No, I don't think so. Well, yes and no, huh? I like to think that I have a good character. I grew up in a very, like my house, Christian value household, went to Prestonwood Christian Academy, went to, Baylor, not that religion necessarily,
doesn't define
it doesn't define you, but I think that when you grow up with those kind of values, that definitely shapes who you are as a person.
You got a solid base.
Yeah. So I know I'm a good person. But I think that I definitely had a streak that was, that I liked talking for whatever reason. Like, I liked talking shit about people, and I was using it as a way to bond with others, and that's not something that.
So it was a strategy play or a tactic.
Well, no, I wish I could just blame it on a tactic, but it was literally just like
trying
a bad.
To give you an out here.
No, I know, but I guess like that's the thing, is like I really can't, like, sometimes it's like as simple as that. Like, you can't really make an excuse for it. You have to just own, like, okay, wow, that's like a really bad characteristic of mine, and I need to fix that, because it didn't help me in the game. Like, even if I was using it to bond with other people, like, it's not like it furthered me in the game. Like, I could have easily just like stepped out of those conversations, and I probably still could have bonded with those people about other things. So so it was more of just like a learning experience for me. But with that being said, I wouldn't say that was something that like defined my game. Like, like there was a lot of other things, not to toot my own horn, but there was a lot of other like redeeming qualities that I showed, because I think the general consensus was that I was a nice person. My season was actually very controversial because a lot of people said a lot of things that were heavily weighted in like microaggressions and even racism, and that was something that I did not take part of at all. And I'm actually known for not taking part of that, and known for like there was like sometimes there'd be situations where someone would say something like that and I would shut them down. So I do like to think that I am a good person. I was raised with good morals because I know the difference between right and wrong as it comes to stuff like that. But for some reason, when it was coming towards talking bad about this girl, I just, it's, I don't know. But I also feel like I became a better person for it.
I can dig it. Cuff, allow me to take a quick break for a second and say thank you to one of our sponsors, the good folks at Class A Vodka.
Cheers.
Absolutely. Hey, cheers.
Boom.
Absolutely. Visionaries, if you have not gotten a chance to get your hands on one of these bottles, the slogan is class in every glass. We stand by it. We wouldn't have it on the show if we didn't believe in it. The Instagram handle is at @classa_vodka. That's Class A with a K. All we can tell you is it's the best vodka in the world. Make sure you get your hands on the bottle. Send them a DM. They'll make sure you're taken care of. Again, class in every glass. And it's at Class A Vodka.
So you just had Class A vodka for the very first time.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a classy bitch.
So tell us, what is your overall experience with it?
It's good. It's like, okay, so I don't know about different vodka classes, but I'm assuming that Class C is probably the stuff that you get like when you're at like the frat party and it like burns as it goes down. But this stuff, it's like I'm drinking straight vodka. And it doesn't taste like I'm not like puckering my face when I drink it. Like it goes down smooth.
It does.
So I like it. Highly recommend.
Definitely. So get your puff on. I want to transition. So you leveraged, being on Big Brother into a social media. Now you're like the social media powerhouse.
I like to think so. I mean, I'm still learning.
How does one deal with success?
How does one deal? Well, I don't.
Or better yet, how did Kat deal with success?
There you go.
Well, thank you. Thanks for saying I'm a successful person. I mean, I think it definitely. I wouldn't say that. Like I believe I am a successful person because I think anyone that's able to be financially independent and be able to like live the life that they want to live, and like I mean of course like I would like to have a mansion and a nice whatever, but being able to like live comfortably, be financially independent, all that, like I think that it truly is successful. But with that being said, I'm not by any means at the point that I can be complacent where I am, like with being a social media influencer. It's all based on it's independent contracts. It's not like I'm going to like, I guess before I went on Big Brother, I had my 9-to-5 job, but then I was also kind of dabbling in influencing because I still had like almost 50,000 followers. So on a smaller level, like I was still able to like do some influencing. I was also doing, the monster modeling and things like that. But I always had that paycheck coming in, from my 9-to-5 job. So I knew every month, I was at least making so much. But now that I'm, purely doing influencing and all that, it's like, it's all my brand. So instead of having the stress of, I have, friends that they, have a desk job, which, that's great for them, but like
it sucks.
Well, I didn't want to, I didn't want to say it.
No, it's okay. You are living the dream that a lot of people in this, in the time space we're occupying now. Everyone would love to be independent and essentially work for themselves.
Yeah.
But I think what you're getting at is, like, there is no such thing as a salary check coming. Like, you've got something to do every day of the week.
Yeah, but then even sometimes like my friends, they'll have their work stress, because their boss is onto them for something or they forgot a deadline or something like that, and then they'll be like, oh, you're so lucky, that you work for yourself. And I'm like, well, that doesn't mean I don't have stress. Like sometimes, like if I have to constantly be hustling, constantly be, I have different agents that work for me as well as, I work, for, pitching myself to try to get that next big thing, because my salary or my monthly contracts, they vary every month from what I'm making.
I want to break that down. So you've got agents that work for you that because you're essentially a 1099, right? You work for yourself. We won't mention your LLC or anything like that, but you got to go out and find quote unquote work. You know, who can I sponsor, or can I represent Class A vodka, Grand Brûlot, what have you, right? And like you said, you have different types of stresses. Like, what do some of those stresses look like? Is it like, hey, what is the best post for this brand that I'm representing? What's the best shoot? Or I've got to go to Tulum, or I've got to go to, you know.
I got to go to Tulum. That's so stressful. Like, I have to go to Tulum.
Well, you know why I said that. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's like, just kind of, well, first of all, finding those types, like finding people that have your best interest in mind. I have, like, one of the most important people that work with me is his name's Cameron, and he does PR for me. And he reached out to me right when I got off the show, and he's a fan of the show, but he wrote me this really compelling email about how he wants to be in PR, and he was like, he's like I'll work for you for free, which I don't believe in people working for free for me, but but he was like saying how he'd work for me for free, he'll intern for me, whatever. He just wants to get a shot, working for me. And I would get a lot of emails from people, when he'd like work for me or whatever, but his just seemed really genuine. So we still work together today, and he's someone who I don't know what I would be doing without him.
Is he in Dallas?
No, he's in Austin.
Okay.
But he has a PR. He's working on opening his PR agency, or I guess he already has his PR agency. But he's at the point right now where he works a 9 to 5, but then he also has his PR agency. So
let's give Cameron a shout out.
Oh yeah,
so
hey Cameron.
anyone that's looking for a PR,
give his name.
Drop his stuff.
Cameron Owen PR. He'll probably listen to this, but he's like, having someone like that in your life is so valuable, because not only does he of course do PR for me, but he also is always available to talk on the phone. He's always available to, I guess, like if I ever have a question, he's always available for counsel or guidance, or I don't know. Like, I think that having people like that in your corner that have your best interest in mind are so important, because on the other side, I have different agents that work for me, and then one of them I just kind of had to recently cut loose, because being the influencer agency, or I mean not influencer agency, the influencer industry is very competitive. Sure. So sometimes you'll find an agent or someone that works with you that they're just looking for the most relevant person, which is of course important,
but they're not thoroughly invested in you.
But they're not invested in you. So there was one person that I was working with, and she was she was pitching me to brands, and then all of a sudden she stopped bringing me work, and I was like, well, why are you not bringing in, I haven't had work from you come in for a month and a half. And, she tried to turn it back on me and was like, oh, well, you're just, I pitch you every day, and you're just unpitchable, and because your brand is, whatever, you're unrelatable, blah, blah, blah. And I, at first I kind of let it get to me and affect me, but then I found out not too long ago that really she just doesn't like me. and really she likes other people better, I guess. So I think that but having someone like that, and I'm absolutely consolidating the story, but it was just I just thought that was a really interesting lesson that I learned, was sometimes when someone says that they're in your corner, they actually end up kind of poisoning your world and poisoning your workplace, and I thought she was helping me, and really she was just she might have been pitching me to brands, but she was pitching me half-assed. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, she just ended up doing more harm than good. So I'm a really firm believer in keeping my circle with people that I know that I can trust, and and of course I'm still learning that.
We're always in a constant state of learning.
So you just said something earlier that I want to go back a little bit. You talked about the young lady that was a little bit poisonous, and this is a growth mindset podcast, and so. I always like to kind of call it back and bring it back to, what that's like when you're dealing with someone that has negative energy, that's poisonous to the things that you're looking to accomplish, right? Here you are, you've come off Big Brother, you've got the social media influencer thing finally, working, and it's up. And then you have somebody that's negative, that's supposed to be in your camp, right? How do you fend off people and negative energy?
I mean, I think that of course, you should always be nice to everybody, of course, but you
don't have to fake it.
no, but I really do think that, because you always want you never want somebody to say something negative about you. Like the girl that I was talking about earlier, like, and basically the reason how I found out that she even didn't like me was because she was working. She also represents one of my friends who's also an influencer. And I was talking to my friend one day and I was like, you know what? Like, so-and-so, like, they just really, like, I feel like they just aren't doing anything for me. And then she was like, oh, well, it's because she doesn't like you. And I was like, wait, what? And then she was like, telling me this story about how they were at some event together or whatever. And this girl, the one, my agent or whatever, she was just like unprovoked, just like going on and on about, how I was annoying her and all this stuff. And the way that I see it, like in that situation, like even Rachel, who works with both of us, or not works with us, but she works with her and then she's my friend. I mean, she obviously at that moment, like, I guess she likes both of us, but it didn't make me look bad, it made my agent look bad. So I guess like in that situation, like it kind of shows you that you always want to be nice to everybody, because you don't want to be that person that now gets dragged on a podcast and then is like, oh, they were such a bitch. But so I do think it is important, like whether you think that they're toxic or not, like absolutely be kind, be nice, whatever. But with that being said, like when it's your brand, it's your job, and that's like your moneymaker, like don't be afraid to like cut people off.
Yeah.
On another account, so I kind of brought up, my BB21 castmates earlier, and it was just, for whatever reason or another, we just had a really bad group of people that they've said a lot of problematic things. They've done a lot of problematic things. And for the longest time after I got off Big Brother, I made so many excuses for them because I was like, oh, well, they're the only people that have been through the same experience that I did. We're like a family, we're a dysfunctional family, whatever. And I made so many excuses for all of the things that they were doing and saying, and even though I wasn't doing or saying those things, I realized that just by being associated with them, the perception of it was bringing me down, because it made, you kind of, I guess, I'm trying to think of the right word for it. Like, you don't want to enable people to like continue doing the bad things that they're doing. Like sometimes even just being friends with them enables them.
Right.
So I'm still nice to them. Like I still, if they were to reach out to me and say like, hey, I need your help with something, within reason, if I'm free or whatever, like I'm still going to be nice. Like I don't think they have anything bad to say about me, but like I also I don't follow them on any social media. I don't go out of my way to go to events with them, because sometimes like you have to keep your circle, free of toxic energy. Sure. Even if it's just, by association. You can't have anyone coming in and spoiling like what you created, because it affects not only your way of thinking, but it also affects, how people perceive you, and then eventually affects your career and your paycheck. Yeah. So don't be afraid to cut people out. I guess one of my greatest strengths is that I have no problem burning bridges. And I think that sometimes that's, maybe that I feel like that used to be frowned upon, like, oh, like you can just cut people off right away. It's like, well, no, like just because I'm cutting someone off doesn't mean that I'm not kind to them. But like you have to
Sometimes
be able.
Sometimes you got to.
But in business, you have to be able to cut people off, because they'll do nothing but bring you down.
Mo and I talked about this last night.
Yes.
New Jack City.
Oh man.
Wesley Snipes.
Absolutely.
It's business. It's not personal.
Yeah.
And then that's what it boils down to. So speaking of your business, you're a mega social media influencer. For someone that's looking to get in the game of being a social media influencer, maybe you got a 15, 16-year-old girl or guy, right, that wants to be an influencer. What advice are you giving them?
Well, so before I went on Big Brother, and I know this sounds so cheesy, and anyone, because social media influencers, like it's kind of like laughed at right now, because, it's such a new thing, and it's such a, people will be like, oh, get a real job, whatever. I'm like, well, why would I get a real job when I'm making more money doing this? Yeah. But people don't take it seriously as a career, and they should, because it is, we live in a world of social media, and companies have so much money to pour into the world of social media. I think that if anyone actually wants a like if it's like a young, 15 or 16-year-old girl or guy that they are actually, they're interested in becoming an influencer, they need to realize that it's not just about like posting pretty photos on Instagram. It's not just, like being attractive or whatever, which of course, like those are things that for a lot of people, it works for them and they end up, getting so many followers because they're pretty or they're whatever. But really, I think that having my background in marketing helps me a lot, and it really sets me apart because I realize that it is more than just posting pretty photos on Instagram, and it has a lot to do with your target audience and like who you're trying to reach out to, and having more of like a business mindset behind it, because eventually like even though like I want to work as an influencer as long as I can, and I think that it is kind of that type of job that you can eventually transition over to being a mommy blogger or being like there is a way to transition.
Opening up your own agency.
Well, yeah, so that's my plan, is I want to eventually open up my own agency where I focus on influencer marketing and connecting influencers with brands, and also if we ever get over COVID, who knows, I do want to have a huge focus on travel and kind of like influencer planned groups where we all go to specific locations to promote different brands. I have like a whole business idea lined up that I was.
Will you take us with you?
Yeah, no, of course.
And we'll talk more about this offline.
No, and
sure.
yeah, but I don't want to give too many details about it because I don't want anyone stealing my idea.
Oh, by all means, keep it close to the vest. By all means.
But yeah, but right before COVID happened, me and my photographer, we were working together on a lot of these plans that was kind of phase one of this agency idea, and I think that it has all the potential of being super successful. Barring any sort of pandemic happening, but that's definitely my 5-year, 10-year plan is the bigger picture. I think there's a lot of influencers that just think like, okay, I need to be this, like I need to work out and I need to have my hair look like this and I need to wear this makeup and like all this stuff because I want to be famous, and it's not like that at all. And another thing that's very important is getting a very engaged audience, because it's really not about the followers at all these days, because you see a lot of those people that they bought millions of followers, or they bought thousands of followers, and then their engagement just sucks. So maybe they'll get
2 million followers and they post a picture and 5 people like it.
Yeah, exactly. Or like even if it's closer than that, and maybe it's not like you can't really notice it like by looking at their profile. Like say that they do a brand deal with some sort of company and they're tracking how many hits they're getting to the website that the influencer is directing them to, and like they barely have any return on investment. So you might get like the one contract or like maybe a second contract that won't be for as much, but after a while, if you're not having a return on investment, they're not going to work with you again. So something that I really pride myself in is keeping my audience engaged, and that's by doing a lot of things like like on Instagram Live. Like Instagram Live is my thing. I love doing it. I'll get drunk, go on Instagram Live. People live for it. But I have this very engaged audience that they I even know them by name even, and those are the ones that they'll always show up if I have an event or if I have an online event, or they'll always buy my merch. They'll always try to support me the best that they can. So it's really important if you're interested in becoming an influencer to not only work on growing fast, but make sure that you have those really secure numbers. So
how do you get your audience to engage with your content?
Well, as silly as it sounds, because you see people they'll you see the captions that it's like happy Friday, what are you doing this weekend? And I mean that's of course something off the top of my head, but that's a very, very baseline idea of just a simple asking questions thing like that. It does get people to respond back, but then not only asking them questions, but then responding back to their answers. Mm-hmm. That's something that I try my best to do. And really,
are you doing it, or do you have somebody?
I do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I ain't got nothing else to do in the middle of the pandemic, and I also don't watch TV. So of course, social media takes up all my time. So but also if you are so big and you do, you are say you're a celebrity and you don't have the time to do it, then pay somebody to do it. But that is something that I do try my best to respond to every single comment, because also people, the followers, they think that that's the coolest thing. Mm-hmm. And then if they're commenting on say they comment on 3 of your photos in a row and you respond to every single one of those comments, then they all of a sudden think you're best friends, which of course you are, because you have that connection. But it means so much to them, because like they probably have commented on all sorts of, celebrity or influencers posts, and then they just kind of feel ignored. So always commenting back and keeping them engaged, doing, things that are keeping them engaged. Like for me, it's Instagram Live, but for other people, they have some people, they have other types of things to keep their followers engaged, whether it's like giveaways or like challenges or things like that. But definitely keeping them engaged is key.
Can I take a break for a hot second, Cuff?
Take a break?
No, I'm sorry. Take a break.
It's too hot to take a break.
Take a break was the wrong word. Kat, what do you think about the establishment that we're in right now?
I love it. I was going to bring that up, actually. You beat me to it. No, this is so cool. Like, not only, podcast aside, but I really like y'all's setup, how it's here. It's like a business. I guess it's a local business here in the area. So I'm huge with supporting local businesses, especially during a pandemic.
Yeah.
I love the smell of cigars, too. It kind of brings me back like a homely feeling. So this is a nice little treat.
And you were telling us your grandfather used to smoke cigars.
Yes. Yeah. So, like how they say that like the sense of smell is like one of the most, your smell is associated most with your memories.
Altruistic.
Yeah, is that what it's called? I don't even know what the word is. But when we met the other night and you told me about, you have a podcast, you recorded a cigar bar, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Because all of the memories that would flood back from, the smell of a cigar, just because my favorite grandpa smoked cigars. I was like, oh, I love that. Memories.
Well, the name of the place that we are recording this episode at is Blowing Smoke Cigar Lounge. The address is 215 West Camp Wisdom Road here in Duncanville, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Edwina Brown is the owner. EB, thank you so much for all of your support.
Shout out to EB.
Coach, as we call her, Jacoby, Devontae, the entire staff here. Visionaries, if you're anywhere here in the southern part of the Metroplex, make sure you get to Blowing Smoke Cigar Lounge. Again, the address is 215 West Camp Wisdom Road. Or on Instagram is at Blowing Smoke, and that's blowing without the G. Make that transition, Cuff. I see where you're going.
Yeah. We've talked a lot, right, about a lot of different things. And shout out to you for, talking about how to become a social media influencer. But I'm curious, as you look back, and you're 30 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still got a long ways to go. What's your biggest fear?
Oh shit. Well, I'm afraid of cats. That's something that's,
A timeout. Your name is, you go by Cat, but you're afraid of cats.
Yes.
How does that happen?
I don't know. I didn't meet my first cat until I was like 27.
Really?
So they just like freaked me out. So cats freak me out. I also have a fear of blueberries.
Why?
I don't know.
So when we went to the humidor, I said, "Hey, look, here's some flavored cigars." And she's like, "Oh no, I can't do that. I can't do
It was
that."
the blueberry one.
Yeah, it was. It was.
my God.
We're not gonna talk about it, but yeah.
No, but of course, and those are silly fears or whatever. But but I think that it's a good. I think that it's a good sign that, like, when you ask me what my biggest fear is, those are what I come up with, and not like the fear of being alone or like the fear of whatever. I really don't. My personality is very, which sometimes this is a good thing, sometimes it's bad, but I do have a very impulsive personality. It's able to, but that's like kind of what keeps me creative, and it keeps me kind of like striving towards the next big thing. Everything that I've done, whether it was, pageants, or I was also a professional dancer for the Dallas Mavericks, or also, being, I also did broadcasting for a short while, and then of course Big Brother. Everything that I do that a lot of people would consider as like a end goal, because trust me, in the dance world there's a lot of girls that was their end goal. I never let that be my end goal. I always thought of like, okay, so what can I use to leverage this to the next thing? So, for instance, with pageants, my end goal my end goal after that was to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, of course. Fell short of that goal, so I went and was a Mavs dancer, but that still wasn't necessarily my end goal. My end goal then was broadcasting, so I used that opportunity to then shadow with different people in the industry and in the sports world to start doing some on-camera hosting, and I was able to host, the Mavs games. I was the in-game host for the Frisco Rough Riders, so I got a lot of on-camera work. So then I leveraged that into doing, some more like social media marketing type stuff. And I just always keep the bigger picture in mind. So for me, like, I don't have a fear of failure, because I know that even being an influencer isn't my end game goal. It's going to be opening in my agency. And then once I open up my agency, I'm going to have another end game after that always, keep me propelling forward. So I don't know. I'm not really afraid of failure or anything, but I guess it would suck to die alone.
I love that. Like, I'm not afraid of failure. That may be the title of the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, I absolutely love that. You know, let's break this down even more so, right, and get down to the brass tacks. So, what does a day in the life of Kat Dunn look like? When you wake up, well, we've had the pleasure of interviewing almost 100
somewhere around 100 some people at this
episodes,
point.
right? And we're big readers as it relates to growth mindset. A lot of people talk about their mornings and winning the mornings. Talk to me about your mornings.
Okay, this is a really bad quality of mine.
Oh, no.
I rarely see the morning because I sleep in, which is really bad. And honestly, that is, yesterday I woke up at, because I was recording a podcast episode, that they were only available at 8:30 a.m. my time.
Oh, wow.
Which
those are not normal operating hours.
No, that's like, I was like, I am not awake by this time, but I also didn't want to tell them that I was that person. I didn't want to be like, oh, like I'm not awake by that time. So I was like, yeah, let me move some things around and I'll see. But no, but I'm not an early riser. And
I got you. So let me ask you this. We've had the pleasure of talking to you for the last, 30, 45 minutes or whatever. How does somebody mitigate limiting beliefs? I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I was always told, you're a loser or whatever. I want you to specifically talk to the visionaries, our fans, and all the KD fans. I don't know what you call your fans. But what would you tell them if you had a one-on-one with your fans about limiting beliefs?
Well, I think that also something that is, I attribute this to a lot of my success, in whether people, agree with this or not, because I know that there's the whole, there is a little bit of a stigma with the whole, participation trophy type stuff. So it's kind of like, it goes in line with that a little bit. But my parents, when they raised me, I was always the best. Like, it was like, if my first trophy that I earned was a participation trophy in a fishing thing.
They work.
Not for everybody. I think that it depends on, who, I think it definitely depends on your mindset. But, even that, I was like, oh my gosh, I got a trophy. I am successful. Things like that. And, even my parents were hyping me up too. And then, when I was doing pageants, I was always, preparing to win, and if I didn't win, my parents never told me, oh, it's because you did that, or ooh, you should have done that. My parents were like, well, clearly the judges were crazy because you were the best one on stage. My parents were always 1,000% in my corner. I had coaches that were, giving me constructive criticism and, helping me kind of mold myself. But my parents, the ones that I was spending 100% of my time with, they were always hyping me up. And I think that kept me really, focused on it, and maybe it's a little bit delusional, maybe it's a little bit I don't know, really I guess it's delusional, but I think that there is something to be said about, always believing that you can, always believing that you're the best, always, and in a very humble way, of course. I mean, be careful. Don't be like, Catherine said be cocky, so I'm gonna be cocky.
Not egotistical.
Not egotistical, but always believe that if you work hard, you can do it, you can win. And then of course, having those, your circle, kind of like what I described before, as they're always hyping you up, and they will check you every now and then, but you're not getting checked by the people that you surround yourself with aren't being hard on you. If they give you criticism, it's to better yourself. And I don't know, I guess just always the belief that you are capable, and also protecting yourself that you are capable. It was actually last night even, I got stuck in this rabbit hole because people like to talk about me online, and I got
I'll beat them up.
No, I beat them up. But I got stuck in this rabbit hole on this forum where, people were talking about my podcast, and they were saying all sorts of trash about my podcast. And before I went to bed, I was like, why am I even doing this? Why all these people are talking crap about it. Why am I doing this? Whatever. And of course, you're allowed to have moments like that you're questioning, oh, should I continue with this? What am I doing? Whatever. But then as soon as I talked to my parents about it, or as soon as I talked to my close inner circle about it, they were able to hype me up and be like, oh no, and also not even just like blindly hyping me up, but they were able to give me like instances and scenarios and be like, don't you remember that time that you did that and what it meant to that person? So I think as long as having that solid foundation, because you'll get negativity trying to cloud your brain all the time, but as long as you have those people around you that hype you up, it's good. I don't know if that's bad advice, but here that is.
No, it's your,
be delusional.
There's no right or wrong answer. It's what you've experienced.
So you just mentioned something, your podcast, Conspire Away Bitches.
Yes.
Let's get into it.
Talk about it. Come on.
What's that about? When does it air? Now, we want all of our visionaries to listen to the Vision Lab podcast first, and then tune into Conspire Away Bitches. So talk to us about it.
So the Conspire Away Bitches podcast is honestly something that I just kind of stumbled into because I never thought I was going to be a podcaster. I don't listen to podcasts.
Except for the Vision Lab.
Except for the Vision Lab, of course. But it was just kind of, during quarantine, and y'all remember at the beginning of quarantine, we were all kind of, we were all stuck in our houses, and a lot of people were kind of losing their quality of life, if you will. Like, they were losing their, like, what was making them happy every day, like what was keeping them going. So I started these Instagram lives, which I kind of mentioned before, which now they've gotten more drunken, like shenanigan Instagram lives. But at first, when quarantine started, I was inviting my fellow Big Brother alumni on for these. It was an hour episode every night on Instagram Live where we would just talk about Big Brother. I would have people send in their questions, and then me and whoever I invited on that night would just shoot the shit for an hour and like reminisce about Big Brother and what's next for them, how they're handling quarantine, things like that. I booked myself solid for 2 weeks every single night because I thought quarantine was only going to be like 2 weeks long. Then it wasn't 2 weeks long.
That's what you thought.
Yeah. So then it was 2 months later, and I was every single night I was interviewing with a new person every night, and that's a lot. Like to be,
How did you find your interviewers? Because we're podcasters.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were all Big Brother people. Okay. So it was a lot easier for me because I kind of had like my inner circle of Big Brother people, or kind of like reality TV, whatever. So a lot of them were my friends, but people loved them. Like people were telling me that was the thing that was keeping them excited every day during quarantine. They were setting their alarms every night for 8 p.m. because that's when they knew that my Instagram Live was, and it was really humbling to see how much excitement I was bringing to everyone's lives during such a dark time. But doing it every single night for 2 months was exhausting. And so I was like, I don't know if I can handle this every night. Because also, we would also like have wine too while we were talking. So it was just
you were getting lit.
Oh, I was getting lit every night. And I was like, this is I need to tone this back. So and of course, as I talked earlier about, not that my Instagram lives are ever an end goal, but like always kind of, using everything as an opportunity to go into the bigger picture and the next end goal. So I was able to, get that secure audience in directing them to my podcast, which is the Conspire Away Bitches podcast. And of course, the new Big Brother All-Star season was happening. They managed to do an All-Star season during quarantine. They
probably were the safest people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were all locked. But no. So it was just kind of the timing of it was good. And then me and Reality Steve, he's a blogger here in Dallas who spoils The Bachelor every year. And he has a podcast too. Excuse me. Him and I are really close, so he was kind of helping me, learn the ropes of podcasting. I just kind of like stumbled into it, and a lot of people loved it or love it. During the Big Brother season, it was the second highest ranked Big Brother podcast behind Rob Has a Podcast, which is like. Rob Has a Podcast is like ridiculous. Like he is like no one's ever going to beat his podcast because it's like that's like the analytical like they like have it's.
All the nuts and bolts.
All the nuts and bolts. Like, that's like, I will never be that style of podcast, which I don't want to be. Mine's more of like a lighthearted, fluff, whatever. And of course, like it started off as a Big Brother related podcast because that's where my audience was built in. But eventually, and starting now, I'm making the transition into covering more, pop culture, like the kind of like pop culture, social media. I love conspiracies too, so dabbling a little bit in conspiracies is always fun.
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
Yes, but hear me out. I'm not crazy. I just love, like, as I said earlier, I don't watch TV. My entertainment is getting caught in, like, Google rabbit holes. We'll all, like, either be researching, like, an unsolved murder or, like, conspiracy theories or, something. And I just, like, go deeper and deeper and deeper. And some of them I know aren't true, but I love I love just like hearing people out. Like flat Earth. Like I don't believe in the flat Earth theory by any means, but I will absolutely get caught in a rabbit hole of people that do, because it's the most like intriguing argument. And honestly, the argument makes sense. That's the craziest part about it. It's like, man, if you like really forget everything you know, like y'all kind of got me there. And that's how a lot of the conspiracies are, which I know is really dangerous, but it's entertaining.
Who was that? It wasn't John Wall. Was it John Wall? No, it's Kyrie. Kyrie said the Earth was flat.
Yeah, Kyrie said the Earth was flat. That's a whole other conversation.
I know, but I don't think the Earth is flat, man. But it is an intriguing argument. I mean,
so before we go further down this rabbit hole,
well, I'm not an expert on that, so that's all I can say about flat Earth theory.
It's all good.
That's all
good. Before we go further down this rabbit hole, Cuff, allow me to say thank you to another group who helps take care of us.
Yes, sir.
And that is the good folks at Dallas Leaf LLC. Their website is dallasleafllc.com. They make great cigars. The Bishop, the Hamilton, those are my two personal favorites. But also, they've got a charitable foundation. They have an entertainment company.
Yep.
If you're looking to get something done, contact the good folks at Dallas Leaf LLC. The Instagram page, I believe, is at Dallas Leaf LLC. Ron, Tash, Sheree, the entire group. There's an army of them. Thank you guys so much for your support. We're definitely looking forward to big things with you guys in the very, very near future.
And you talk about support, right? Like, Dallas Leaf LLC is a conglomerate.
Yes, absolutely. They're an army. They're an
army, and they come in droves, number one. But the support that they give on a regular basis, they've got really tremendous cigars.
Absolutely.
I'm a big fan of the Hamilton.
I like the Bishop.
You like the Bishop?
The Hamilton's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of the Bishop right now.
Yeah, for sure. So shout out to Dallas Leaf LLC. Make sure you guys cop that whenever you get a chance. And also, here in Blowing Smoke Cigar Lounge.
Yes, absolutely.
You can purchase Dallas Leaf LLC. So it's almost about that time.
Almost.
But before we get there,
we're gonna play a game.
Oh yeah. Okay,
let's play a little game.
Let's play a game. Come on.
So you got one's got to go.
Okay.
You've heard of this before, right?
Yeah.
A teddy bear or chocolate?
Oh, obviously a teddy bear. Like, why would I give up chocolate? You sociopath.
Amen. Roses or a Valentine card?
Oh, I love roses, don't get me wrong, but my favorite thing in the world is a handwritten card. Like, I keep all of my handwritten cards from like as far back as I can remember. I have a whole drawer at home full of them.
Okay. So in the spirit of Valentine's, diamonds or Louis Vuittons?
Ooh.
Good question.
Okay, I'm going to say diamonds because all the Louis Vuittons that I own, I've bought myself.
Okay.
So I will say diamonds because I've never bought myself a diamond.
So you've got a romantic giveaway.
Okay.
Or, excuse me, a romantic getaway.
Oh, I was like, okay, what
romantic getaway. Romantic getaway.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere cold
Oh, no.
or somewhere hot?
Okay, somewhere hot, but specifically, in case anyone listening to this is interested, I want to go on one of those trips. It's like in like Bali or like Bora Bora, where it's like you're in the huts.
So I had my honeymoon.
Oh yeah.
In Bora Bora.
Were y'all in one of the huts where like you're just like naked the whole time? You don't even. Yeah, that's
100%.
Fellas, take her there.
And I was naked because I'm that guy. 1,000%.
Can you get to the next part of this, please?
No, but that's what every girl wants. She wants a secluded getaway in Bora Bora where she doesn't have to wear clothes.
Bora Bora is amazing. Mm-hmm. It's just a very, very remote island. Mm-hmm. My wife and I went for our honeymoon. We celebrated 5 years back in December, and it was amazing. What I will tell you about Bora Bora is that the food is amazing, but there's nowhere to go. Like
that's why you stay in your secluded hut.
You're just stuck there, huh?
Yeah, you don't have to pack clothes. It's perfect.
Like you're honestly, you're literally there. So we took a flight to LAX, LA, and then we flew, and this from Dallas to LAX, and then from LAX to I don't even know where we went to, but it was crazy because we had it sucked because. Honestly, it did.
Now I don't want to go.
No, I was like, man, you were telling me up to that point. Now I'm like, okay.
We had a little boy at 2-3 years old that woke up in the middle of the night and was a little boy. So he's kicking the seat and he's active and all this other stuff. So we got there. You land in an island, and then you have to boat another 45, maybe an hour from wherever the airstrip is to Bora Bora. Now, where we went was Secrets of Bora Bora. I don't remember the name, but it's where Justin Bieber has been.
Oh, no way.
He actually rented it out. It's where God, they play this movie all day long, every day. I cannot remember the name of this movie right now, but it's got
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn.
Oh,
I honestly wouldn't know anyways.
I know you're talking about Phase On Love and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember. It's a family movie, but I can't remember the name.
It's
The name
a good-
escapes me at the moment.
Yeah, it's a good movie, and I can't remember it right now to save my life. But they literally play that on a loop. So like, you can come home at 1 o'clock in the
it's
afternoon. It's on.
It's on.
You can come
Goodness
back
gracious.
at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's on. But the experience was amazing.
For a while there, I thought you were complaining about going to Bora Bora, and I was about to roast you so hard. I was like,
No, first, there was no complaint. But the reality was that on that flight, the 3 or 2 year old boy literally kicked the seat, cried, wanted this, wanted that for like 6 of the 8 hour
I don't blame
flight.
him though, man.
6 of 8
still
hours.
don't
Why take a
blame
little
him.
person on a flight that long? Asking for trouble.
Yeah. So, you know, so you already answered romantic getaway. Would you want to have dinner out at a fancy, you know, nice upscale restaurant, or Netflix and chill?
Dinner out, because I just don't watch movies. I don't watch TV. Like if I'm Netflix and chilling, I would rather just chill.
Okay.
But I love nights in. But I also love, you know, when there's not a pandemic going on, I do love like getting dressed up and going out to eat and
interacting with people.
yeah, or at least interacting with the one that I'm with. You know,
Popcorn or candy?
candy. I'm not a huge popcorn person.
What's your favorite candy?
Probably Reese's. Like
Sugar
any-
babies.
Really?
Yeah.
Sugar babies.
That
What's
I
yours?
took you back to the like
What's
mid
mine?
90s.
Yeah.
Lemon heads and Jolly Ranchers.
Man, so y'all aren't chocolate people.
Oh, I mean, I like
have enough chocolate
a
to
good.
last.
I mean, a good chocolate cheesecake and like chocolate chip cookies.
Oh,
but,
you like the sophisticated.
But as far as
chocolate.
candy, like lemon heads and Jolly Ranchers and cherry clans.
Nice.
So, in the spirit of Valentine's, what would be your ideal Valentine's experience? You have what every guy, you know,
It's your world.
it's your world. What's your ideal
well,
Valentine's experience?
Well, fellas, hit me up. I'm kidding. No, let's see. Well, see, Valentine's is so, like, I feel like it's so, like, commercialized, I guess. So actually going out on Valentine's is a little overrated because everything is so packed.
This is your world,
I
though.
know, but I'm saying, like, okay, this is my world. And I'm going to sound like a gold digger, but I promise it's not that. But, like, if a guy, like, showed up with, like, a private jet, that he could, like,
Wow.
jet me off.
she
to,
literally
like,
started at a private jet.
no, but because
So
you said
can
it
Where
you
do we go-
imagine-
where do we go from
exactly.
there?
Because
Where do you go from there?
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I was like, hey, if you're out here, like, let me know. But no, because I don't want to deal with like the traveling before Valentine's Day, usually like in the middle of the week. So it'd have to be a jet like that day, or a helicopter if you're going somewhere close. But I don't know, jetting off to like somewhere like maybe Hawaii. I love Hawaii. Or Tulum. Love Tulum.
Hawaii's overrated, in my opinion.
I love Maui. It's one of my favorite places. But I just got back from Tulum, and Tulum is maybe I like it better than Hawaii. But I don't know, going somewhere exotic to where you're not dealing with, you know, like the long lines of Dallas and, you know, whatever. And
You want something off the grid a little bit.
yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cuff, have we reached that part of the interview?
I think we have, and I'm going to
Yeah.
pull the,
Get a glass
cups
here.
out here,
Hold
the
on one
glasses
second.
out.
Yeah.
This is so much fun. I feel
Hold on
like I
one
could
second,
talk for ages.
Listen,
Absolutely.
we can keep going, but you
I know I got to be somewhere.
Miss Lady, you're so busy.
Good. So, visionaries, we have reached the point, and for those of you who listen, we are going to land the plane.
Yes.
With Grand Brûlot, the official cognac of the Vision Lab podcast. Thank you to Francisco, to Jameson, the Lovers team, everybody involved with this partnership. Visionaries, it is we stand by it. It is the official cognac of the Vision Lab podcast. If you can't get it in a store near you, send them a DM. They will make sure that you are taken care of. Cuff, hand me your hand me your glass. I apologize.
Have you had cognac before?
I don't know. I was about to say.
This is about to change your
I know.
life.
Well, first cigars, now cognac.
Yeah.
It's about to change your life.
Is it like a type of whiskey or?
No, it's
No, it's
cognac.
cognac.
What?
Yeah,
It's like a whole.
France.
It's a whole different kind of
You gotta
thing.
hold on.
Yeah, just hold on one second.
Can I smell
Hold on
it?
one second. Yeah, by all
smell
means.
it. There we go. That's good.
Yup.
I didn't know there was another type of alcohol there.
Yeah, we rock with Grand Brûlot, the official cognac of the Vision Lab podcast. Be on the lookout for Francisco's episode, dropping probably in a couple of weeks.
It's coming.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
So, do you take it as one shot or? Am I,
No, I
okay.
don't shoot it. No,
No, we don't shoot this.
This is grown folks.
I know. I
okay?
forgot I'm in a classy establishment.
No, all good.
So we're just gonna sip on it and then kind of land the plane, ask a couple more questions.
Okay.
Cheers to Grand Brûlot.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to Grand Brûlot. And y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
And you.
Oh, that's good. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
It tastes.
Get you another one.
No, it tastes like one of those. Okay, hold on. I gotta taste. Okay. Okay, because y'all are gonna think I'm crazy. Hold on.
I'll join you.
Okay. It tastes like if you were, and again, hopefully they're not like, this girl doesn't know what she's talking about, but it tastes like if you were to mix whiskey and a deep red wine. Am I crazy?
There's some elements of that.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it has,
you're
like,
not completely
like,
off
I think
base.
the whiskey, because it's very, like,
Talk to
it's
me
like
about
earthy,
what
but then,
experience you get. Like, if you can close your eyes, take a sip, where would you be in the world? I'm gonna tell you what I think.
I would be in a library with leather-bound books.
Wow, that's way different from what I was gonna say.
I don't know, like, I feel like it's like a very, like, I feel like it's like a very sophisticated drink. I don't know.
that is definitely the word.
I feel like I'm in like Colorado, or on
that
a
too.
slope,
Okay,
or,
all right.
or Utah, and I feel like it's because there's zero burn, or maybe for me there's zero burn. What about you?
Yeah, I had no burn.
No burn.
No burn.
So for the visionaries that are tuning
But you're
in,
taking bigger gulps than I am.
well, I'm a little bit larger than you.
It is
But
very sophisticated.
here's what's
That's the word.
super cool about this, right? Like, so you can have this in the morning. Obviously, you don't smoke cigars like we do, but if you were to have a cigar in the morning, you could have a cigar.
You're starting
with
off
some
your day
coffee.
with some cognac?
Oh, okay, hold on.
Well,
Go,
hey.
get to it.
This is my
Get to
type
it.
of day.
Listen,
Yeah, hey.
you better come on into the lab, right?
Stick with us. We'll take your prices.
Exactly. We'll show you what it's really about. But no, you can have some coffee with a little splash of Grand Brûlot, cigar, start your day off, read the newspaper, read your social media for you, right? Get your mind right for the day. It doesn't mean that you're getting, drunk or whatever. This is grown folks business. You understand?
I need to grow up and live like y'all.
No. You're good. You're just gonna bring that element to your generation, right? But I feel like it's very smooth. Or, you know what? It's the middle of the day. We had a productive work day, and I want to have a nice drink of Grand Brûlot. I go to a bar, upscale bar, put I like to call them whiskey balls.
A whiskey ball.
Oh, yeah, those little ice things.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
those are fancy.
You can do that, and then drop that in here, have some Grand Brûlot, or it's a nightcap, and you've had a great date, you've had a great time, you've had a great day, and you know what? I'm just gonna put a little bit neat, and you can have it. So that's kind of where I'm. So it's time to land the plane.
Okay.
This has been an amazing experience. First and foremost, before we do this, why don't you tell all of our visionaries how they can find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Kat Dunn, which is KATDUNN. You can also find me on TikTok at Kat Dunn. My TikTok's on the up and up, which is wild. Who knew? And then also, of course, on Twitter at It's Catherine Dunn, and my podcast, Conspire Away Bitches.
Absolutely.
Love it. By the way, when does your podcast release? Like, when does it come out?
I'm just taking it as I'm going. I release one episode every week. I did.
This is on Tuesdays, Mondays, Wednesdays.
No, I don't have a day. I know it's
just
bad.
drop it.
I know, because I have to get on a good schedule. But yeah, so I guess just subscribe to my channel and stay tuned.
Listen to the Vision Lab first.
And then as soon as you get
As
done,
soon as you get
Yes,
done,
yes.
check out Kat Dunn's Conspire Away Bitches.
So, as we land this plane, one of the questions we ask everybody on the show, it is you, and there is a round table very similar to this
Okay.
one. There are 5 other seats at the table. You get 5 people, obviously.
Oh, shoot.
Who do you want at your table? There's only one caveat. The people at your table can be dead or alive. You just can't have Jesus at your table.
Okay, well, if I can't
that's too easy.
Well, then if I can't have Jesus, then I'm going to go with the Kardashians.
That's a drove.
That's an army right there.
No, okay, I know
Your table's done.
I know I sound like those. I know I sound like that girl, but man, I would love to have. Okay, well, actually, you know what? Okay, I would like to have 4 Kardashians.
Which ones?
Kim for sure.
Okay.
Kylie, Kris, and you know what? Those are really the only ones that I really care about. So Kim, Kylie, Kris. I would like my grandpa who smokes cigars because he could. Oh wait, do I need to?
You can. Yeah.
And then I have one more. Man, who's my last one? Gosh. Man, I don't even know. I'm fine with just
it's your
them,
table.
my grandpa, man.
It's your table.
And they're dead or alive. Ooh, you know what? Okay, I would need someone like maybe one of the founding fathers of the Illuminati.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's into conspiracy theories.
Just so we could all ask questions about it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know who. Maybe one of the Rothschilds or one of the Carnegies or I don't know.
You, sir.
But yeah.
So for anybody that may be under a rock and doesn't know how to get a hold of Kat Dunn, did she already drop her social media?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, this cognac is hitting you different. Man.
All right, so what's the long-term vision for one Kat Dunn?
Well, of course, I'm going to ride out this whole influencer marketing as long as I can, which I think I'll be able to ride out for a while because no matter what the social media platform is, as long as you're always evolving, the world that we're, the path that we're going down as, a culture, that type of social media marketing is here to stay. Eventually, as I talked about earlier, I want to open up my own agency that focuses on influencer marketing and their connection with businesses. And then after that, I can't say exactly because my agency is like a 5 to 10 year goal. And I think by the time I get there, we're going to be in a whole different type of world. So I guess, as of right now, my end goal is my social media agency, but it's not. I don't think it's good to have an end goal. So you'll have to ask me in 10 years, and then I'll let you know.
I'm down for a part 2.
Oh yeah, me too.
So I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Mo.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is that cool?
Go ahead. I know where you're going.
Depends. What are you cheating on?
So here's the deal. We've had an amazing conversation, an amazing experience with you. Our audience is a little bit older.
Okay.
So I want you real quickly, 30 seconds, 90 seconds or
Okay.
less. Talk to the older demographic. Your 35, 40-year-olds. What can they do?
Well, that's not much older than me. I'm 30.
It's still different demographic.
Still in my age range as far as dating goes, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Since this is Valentine's Day.
Shout out to you. Valentine's
No,
Day.
I'm kidding.
Holler at Kat. What can the older generation do to establish themselves as a social media giant like yourself?
Well, I mean, if you're not interested in learning about, the world of social media yourself, because sometimes it's just not one of your passions and it's not one of your interests. I think that as a business, you do need to have some sort of presence on social media. Because of course, more people go to Facebook to get their business, to look up a business. More people go to Facebook than they do the actual website of the business. And now, of course, with the different changes that we're seeing on Instagram, now people are able to shop on Instagram. So eventually it's going to change where people are doing their boutique shopping off of Instagram. So we're seeing kind of these social media channels taking over. I think just you don't have to necessarily adapt yourself to it because you can hire somebody that does it. And I think just getting on that wave and having presence on those channels is going to keep you and your business relevant.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, so the final question of our podcast, okay? As you sip on some Grand Brûlot, you like that?
It is. It's good.
It's good.
I cannot sip it as fast as you, but
I'm a little bit.
I'm
bigger
taking
than
baby
you.
sips, but it's good.
I'm a little huskier than you. So, in case you didn't know, we have a magical time machine here in the lab. What would today's version of Kat Dunn, what advice would she be giving you from 5 years ago? So you're now 25, 24, 25, 26 years old. What advice are you giving yourself from back then?
Okay, well, 5 years ago, I was in a long relationship with the guy we dated for 5 years. We were set to get married. We had a ring getting designed.
He feels dumb right now.
No, he doesn't feel dumb. He's successful in his own way, and he's great. Like, we're on good terms. It's nothing like it's not like I'm that girl being like, I was in this horrible relationship. Like, no, it was a great relationship. It just wasn't right. But I knew it wasn't right way early on in the relationship. Probably around year 2, I knew it wasn't right, but I still dragged it on for 3 more years because on paper it looked right. So I think if I could tell myself, 5 years ago, just, bite the bullet and break up with him, you'll be fine. But it just, because I wasted a lot of time. Sure. But with that being said, I don't think I would have ended up in the same exact place as I am now if it wasn't for those different, things, me even like that, me dating him for 5 years. Like, what if we had broken up early on and then I would have met somebody else and gone down a completely different path? So, I don't really have
with 3 kids.
Exactly. So, you never know. But I think that maybe I would have nipped that in the bud a little bit quicker. But other than that, I think just I kind of already had a good head on my shoulders when I was that age. But maybe not as quick to make decisions as I probably should have been.
Okay. We're going to fast forward the clock. And you're now 35.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I still look like I'm 25.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No question about it, because you're half black.
Yeah.
What is the 35-year-old version of yourself? What advice are they giving you today?
They would probably tell me to save my money a lot better. Because I'll be honest, something that I actually pride myself in is, as someone for my age, I am pretty good at keeping track of my finances. I'm not one of those people that, bust through their paycheck. I don't live paycheck to paycheck. I am pretty financially savvy. However, when it comes to when I have to determine whether I want to put my check into my savings account or my checking account, it always goes into my checking account. And I know that that's bad. So I need to become better at that. And I know that that's going to be my downfall 5 years from now.
Go back to earlier in our episodes. You got a couple of professionals that have talked about, financial literacy. Mm-hmm. Check us out. Make sure that you can, you tune in because hopefully you can grab some nuggets of that. And I just want to say a very special thank you for coming into the lab and being vulnerable, talking about your experience on Big Brother, talking about your experience on, being a major social media influencer.
Hey, y'all are boosting me. I want to say I'm major, maybe just major.
Okay, just one.
Okay, we'll give you one major.
We'll give you one major. But it's been absolutely outstanding.
Oh, thank you.
Certainly
this is a lot of fun.
You had your first cigar.
I know.
Real cigar.
And my first cognac.
And your first cognac.
And honestly, probably some of my first really good vodka where I wasn't like cringing afterwards.
You drank it straight.
It was good.
Shout out again to Class A vodka.
It was smooth.
Yeah. So to all of our visionaries worldwide, thank you again for tuning in. It's been absolutely amazing experience. Remember, each one of our guests are leaving nuggets of wisdom on the trail of life. Ultimately, it's up to you to pick them up.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Mosley. He is Ryan Cuffey. She is the beautiful and talented Kat Dunn. Thank you guys again for listening to another great episode of the Vision Lab podcast. We will see you next week.